One of the things that I dislike about sports is when one of the announcers says, oh, the momentum's definitely shifted to blank. And it's like, I'm sorry. What you're basically saying is that you're making momentum as if it's a literal thing when it's a psychological thing. Because at any point, a quarterback could haul back and throw a 50-yard pass and the momentum shifts right back. And so it's much more of a mental thing than a literal thing, except in one place. And that is momentum on the web in this age of algorithms is totally real. Here's what happens. The algorithm is used to you posting every day and getting 6 comments and 150 views of it. And, I'm just pulling numbers off the top of my head. And then you stop posting. And so it sees nothing for a few days. And what it does is when you come back, it doesn't give you the credit that you had from the previous period. You've got to start over and earn it back. Unlike a quarterback throw a long pass down the field, you have to actually start back on the 1 yard line, or worse, start back in Pee Wee football as if nothing had ever happened before. So the point I want to make here is this. Even those days when you just don't feel like it, it is better. There we go. Sorry, couldn't get the card. It's better for you to continue than to try to recover later. It's better for you to continue than to take a break and try to recover later. So let me just give you a quick example of one way I've learned this. In Wisconsin, we've had several, we almost always have a dry spot during the middle of the summer. Nothing like the droughts are out west, but for our grass that's used to getting, a couple inches of rain a month, to go for a couple of weeks with no rain, the grass goes, and it just freaks out and stops growing and goes into hibernation. And all my neighbors have always said, it just goes into hibernation. It'll be right back. And so we believed that. And by the way, we didn't put in underground watering systems when we built the house because nobody around us has them, except the new neighborhood that's come in, and they've all got it and their lawns all look gorgeous. But my little part of the neighborhood, what ends up happening is when those dry periods happen, I won't call them a drought because unlike the West, it's just more of a dry period. What happens is nobody waters, they just let it go fallow. And what I've discovered is your grass dies. And so over the years, I now have a bunch of this ugly crabgrass looking kind of stuff in my lawn that actually isn't crabgrass. I have to literally dig it up and start all over again in those spots because I let that happen. And so for the last 2 years, I've just made a resolution that I'm going to water consistently. If it's not going to rain, I'm going to water, and we're going to keep this grass alive and healthy. And for the first time in years, my lawn actually looks healthy. Okay, well, there's a lawn example. But does this apply to like business? Obviously, it applies to weight, right? I'm going to take a couple of weeks off and just eat whatever I want to. It's a holiday period. And then afterwards, you end up having to lose like 10 pounds. Well, it also applies to business. So let me give you a couple of examples where this applies. First one, emailing your list. So you got this list, you spend a lot of time, a lot of money building this list, and you're emailing it, and then you just take a couple of months off, and it's like you don't work very hard on it. And what ends up happening is when you come back, all the algorithms now say that you're spam, and so you're going to everybody's promotional folders, and you're no longer getting in front of your people. In the algorithmic world, you just blew it by going silent. How about advertising? I see people do this all the time. They've got advertising, it's been running consistently, and then they get a little short on cash, or they haven't got an offer up or something like that. And so they close off their advertising. And what ends up happening is 2 months later, when they come back, they're expecting to have the same advertising spend limit. They're expecting to have the same results. And the algorithms have said, no, this is a brand new ad. We got to start all over again. You got to earn your way back. So don't kill your advertising, maybe reduce your spend rate a bit, but keep everything else the same so that you keep that momentum running a bit. How about this one? Anytime you've been doing something like going live on Facebook or something like that, keep your streak alive so you can keep that algorithmic work happening for you. And of course, the other one, the main one, is posting to social. So if you're used to posting 3 posts a day to Twitter and you suddenly stop, the algorithms will punish you. So there's your message. Be consistent even if you don't feel like it, because the internet is an algorithmic world. And you can say, oh, it won't hurt me, but it will. So, but what's your experience with this? Have you found this to be true, that you can't really pause it? Now, I'm not trying to put pressure on you. I'm not trying to say, oh, once you start something, you got to continue it forever. Though there is an argument for that. And so I don't want you to not start something because you're not sure whether you can continue it forever. But at the same time, I want you to realize that this is a fact of life on the internet. And if you want to play this game and get the benefits of it, there is a price, and one of those prices is you really need to be consistent. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.